The other day we had $20 to buy a vinyl when we were away, and I said, "It's yours, spend it, do it when you came back with Saturday Night Fever." I was like, dude, yeah.
My
We've gone off track.
exclusively yacht rock.
Yacht rock.
Yacht rock. Okay.
Yacht rock. Really?
Yeah, because the yacht rock station is amazing, and by the way, it'll bring up any party. So if you're having trouble in a weird vibe, no rhythm, you know what I'm saying? Pop it on. Golden. They love like Hall & Oates, like McDonald's, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the yacht rock. Now, Rachel, we've got to congratulate you on this is the last season. It's been such a huge success. What's going on this season? How are you feeling about the show coming to an end?
I'm very excited for when you see it. It's one of those times when you get even though the show is ending and you want it to be tightened up in the whole arc, and sometimes they cancel the show before the fans can really see it through. So I feel like it's beautiful, and they spent 3 years with this character, and it's got a lot of heart, and it's really sad, and it's beautiful, and that's happening, and I'm just very proud of it.
Do you like to see the show?
So previously, when we were using spreadsheets, we were heavily meeting dependent. It took us hours to update our tasks and our projects. It was crazy. We found out about Mondaycom Workouts, and the instant I started playing with it, it was like a light bulb went off. Hi, I'm Chris Funk, Senior Product Manager of Innovation here at Zippo. Using Monday.com, you can see what's going on, who's busy, who needs help, and where you can optimize it. We're not sending an email, we're not waiting for someone to see something. It's made my life so much easier, my team so much easier. It makes all the difference in the world.
Look professional with GoDaddy. Let's say there are 2 new emails in your inbox. One from a legit-looking business, and one from whatever this is. Customers only open emails they can trust. Get a domain with a matching professional email, so your business actually looks like a business. Earn your customers' trust at GoDaddy.com.
Aren't we conditioned to kind of react?
Dude, I react every day. But the fundamental question is, it's not about the money, it's not about the sex, it's not about the weight, it's not about the diet. This is something else. If you want love in your life and your future, then you better take care of...
I think you gotta have a dream for this.
School of Greatness.
Yeah.
Please welcome out.
Is there a way to transform your energetic field and to transform your mindset to start attracting other management partners? That's the right thing to do.
Yeah, so, let's start at the top, right? I mean, people always ask me, like, how do I create, the person of my dreams that I want in my life? And I always say, take out a piece of paper, write down everything you want in that person, and then become it.
That's it.
Because so many people have so many interesting definitions about what they think love is, right? And so some people have it in terms of need, some people have it in terms of sexuality, some people have it in terms of control and dominance and success. And so those are different experiences that really don't lead to this concept called love. And so my theory in a relationship, I was in Australia for 3 weeks, and I was doing this big book tour, and I was on all these television shows and all these radio shows, and I wanted to talk about the science of changing the mind, the neuroplasticity, epigenetics. And every television show they were asking me about soulmates, how to create it. And I was just so tired. By the end of this tour, I was at the Establishment Hotel in Sydney, and I'm sitting with the CNN reporter, and an attractive woman, and she said, how come I can't create the relationship that I want? And I was so over it. I just looked at her and I said, let me ask you a question. Would you go out with you? Which is really the fundamental question. So I have a couple theories about relationships that I think are really important, and I use the same exact principles with my life. Now, first of all, I will never work in a relationship. And I don't think anybody should work in a relationship. I think if you're working in a relationship, something is not clicking. Something is not right. But if you bring your best, and the person that you're with brings their best, and you celebrate your life together, then there's constructive interference, there's growth, there's energy. If you're not at your best and you show up, more than likely you're going to pick someone or something apart. And it's better that you remove yourself for a period of time and get back into your heart and present yourself at your best. And so if you're not there and you need a mirror or a reflection, then it's good to ask, am I missing something? Am I not seeing myself in some way? And then there's a healthy conversation when you invite. But if you're not invited to contribute your opinion, then it's better off that you don't, right? So people always say, I want a loving relationship, but what they really want is happiness, really. So we do these meditations to create love in our lives. And it could be love in familial relationships with your siblings, it could be with your parents, it could be with your friends, or it could be with a significant other. And so if thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field, and feelings are the magnetic charge in the quantum field, and how you think and how you feel broadcasts an electromagnetic signature that influences every single atom in your life. The thought sends a signal out, and the feeling is the magnetic field that draws the event back to you.
Right.
So if you're not in a place where you're in love with life, or in love with yourself, or practicing diminishing your emotional reactions to certain people or conditions in your life, and you're living in anger or hostility or judgment or fear, and you want a loving relationship, there is no magnetic field for you to draw that to you. And in fact, if you say to me, well, it's that person or that circumstance that's caused me to feel this way, then I would say, that person or that circumstance is controlling the way you feel and the way you think. And anything that controls the way we feel and the way we think, we are victims to, right? So most people are unconsciously responding to the conditions in their environment, experiencing emotions that are derived from hormones of stress. Those emotions cause us to feel separate from our dreams. They heighten our senses, so if we can't see them, it doesn't exist. The threat or the danger puts us in emergency mode. And we can think positively about the relationship we want. We could send a signal out into the field. We could have pictures. We could remind ourselves of what it is. But if you're not drawing the experience back to you, because your response to the environment is actually weakening your organism, it's weakening your response, is actually weakening the body, then you will be, as a victim, more vulnerable to the conditions in your environment, whether they're large or small. And I'm talking about microorganisms as well. So if you wanted a true relationship where it was fundamentally based on this concept called love, now let's talk about that, because we practice this a lot in the work that we do. If you could truly begin to practice treating those survival emotions every day for elevated emotions, and you practiced opening your heart, it's a skill that has to take place where you move out of survival. So people say, well, I can't open my heart, I can't feel love. And I say, well, what do you practice feeling? Because whatever you practice feeling, you're feeling most of the time. And that feeling could be guilt, but you're so used to it, you wouldn't even know it's guilt. It just feels like you.
Are most people practicing a feeling, or are they just reacting to how they feel?
Well, they're reacting to their external environment, or they're reacting to some stray thought in their mind, and every thought produces a chemical. So if they have an unhappy thought, they feel unhappy. If they have a judgmental thought, it produces chemicals that makes you feel polarized, right? So
How much does one thought change your chemical body?
oh, that's an interesting question. So let's put this on hold
Okay,
here.
yes.
So the stronger the emotions that we feel from the problems and conditions in our life, the more altered we feel inside of us, the more we pay attention to what's causing it outside of us. So if you have an event in your life, like an experience in your life that has a strong emotional charge to it, and you don't feel like your normal self, you feel this alarm system switch on. You're going to narrow your focus on the cause, and the brain's going to take a snapshot, and that's called a long-term memory, right? So then what people don't know is that every time they think about that event, they're producing the same chemistry in the brain and body as if the event was occurring.
In that moment.
In that moment. So the highly charged event is actually producing the emotion, and the body is so objective that it doesn't know the difference between the real experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that the person is fabricating by thought alone. The body's believing. It's so objective, it's believing it's in the same environmental experience. So strong, the highly charged emotional events, some people think of their ex, and the thought of that person
Makes them sick.
makes them feel out of balance. So,
And one image, one thought in their mind makes them feel out of balance.
so all you need is an image and an emotion, a thought and a feeling, a stimulus and a response, and you're conditioning your body emotionally into the past. So now, the memories, and this is just not in the brain now, it's in the body. Okay, so now, that thought of that person is actually creating a response in the body that's consuming the body's energy for growth and repair, consuming the body's energy to create, because in survival, it's not a time to create. In survival, it's time to run, fight, and hide. So the problem is that it becomes a subconscious program. It's no longer a conscious process. It now is a subconscious process. So now the body has been conditioned into resentment, into unhappiness, into fear, anxiety, whatever it is. And so it's just back to our concept of bringing love into your life. So you say to that person, okay, open your heart. And they're going to say, are you kidding me? I was injured. I was hurt. I'm not going to do that. Let me see your cards first, right? And once I see your cards, then I'll open up a little bit. So we protect this, right? So now in that state of survival, the research shows that the long-term effects of those stress hormones are pushing the genetic buttons that are creating disease. The body can't live in emergency mode for that period of time. So in a sense, the person is making themselves sick by thought alone. The thoughts are making them sick, literally. So the problem is now the body is conditioned into the past, and it's the mind. Now once the body
is the mind.
The body becomes the mind emotionally. So now all of this energy stored in the body, and now the person now has to leave their unhappiness and step out into the unknown. They have to get out of the familiar feelings that has defined them. So they'll say, I can't really feel joy. I can't really feel love. And what they're really saying is, I've been conditioning my body emotionally so much into the past that I can't feel anything else other than what I know.
Anger, resentment, pain, suffering.
Psychology calls those normal human states of consciousness. Those are altered states of consciousness.
So normal states of consciousness are these kind of negative feelings?
No, I'm saying that those states of survival